of the N64 Quest, and we're on to what I think is a really cool game. It's going to be a lot better than the other fighting games that I've played over the past couple months. This is Mace the Dark Age. It's another one from Midway, so you can't have the highest hopes when you go into it, but I've played this game before, and at the very least, at the absolute minimum, if you don't like this game, you can at least appreciate that the characters are so much better than they are in other games like it from this time period. I mean, it's basically a big Mortal Kombat ripoff, and of course, because it's an arcade port, I only have so much time to show the characters. So basically, just gonna get right into it because I do like all the characters in it. That's one thing that I really appreciate about this game is I don't dislike any of the characters. It's not like you find one, like in Clay Fighter when I had Earthworm Jim, just like Earthworm Jim and stuff with them. These characters are all pretty cool. And of course I have my arcade shard with me, because I'm playing a arcade style fighting game. I just might as well do it, right? So we've gotten right into it and facing off against this. What's special? This Mordos Kull character here. Now, one thing I want to point out first of all is, oddly enough, there's only 3 real attack buttons. It's a bit simpler than most of the other games, basically, at this point. There's only 3 attack buttons. There's quick jab, strong, quick jab or strong thrust, whatever you want to call it with your weapon. And then there's quick, strong, and kick. And that's about it. And then you get special moves and other stuff like that. There's also, how War Gods had the stupid... War Gods or Dark... I think War Gods, they had the stupid 3D button, which is basically your evade. They have that assigned to LNR. And I don't think Z actually really has anything. It really just already feels a lot better. Then I'll most directly be able to compare it to War Gods because it's kind of like if War Gods wasn't completely trash with all the characters and lazy animation and so on and so forth. Like, look at that throw I just pulled off. Like, it looks just a lot better. It's not it's not like like they're missing frames of animation. Like they really rushed this or anything like that, or they weren't used to doing these 3D style graphics yet. I think this is a little bit like, it's more appropriate representation of what you can accomplish with this system, or at this point in 90s 3D arcade hardware, etc. It also it gets it gets a little bit of credit for being more creative because like you can see it's a weapons based fighter. It's not like Soul Calibur level. Soul Calibur was still not even out yet, but give credit for being more the precursor to like Mortal Kombat's weapon stuff and Soul Calibur and other stuff like that. I think of it more like was it Battle Arena to Shinden? It was bigger on the PS1 and stuff. It's kind of like that. It looks a lot better though, I think. I'm not gonna rave about the controls or about the complexity of it or anything like that. It's pretty much a button masher. Like, you can hear me, but I want to give it more credit. I always want to give it more credit than other stuff that's out there at the time, especially for the aesthetic, especially for the character design, especially for the way it uses the stages. I mean, I think the stages are so much better than they were in other recent games. I've played this game before, but it's not like I know the special moves or anything like that. I'm really jumping in and trying to feel my way through it. Usually I'll set the difficulty to the easiest mode, but it's whatever. I intend on actually like playing this and using the different characters and, you know, maybe trying to beat it. Depends on how hard it really comes down to with each individual character. So of course, because this is a direct arcade port, you only get so many tries to do it on the arcade mode, which is the only mode in this game, unfortunately, besides 2-player. Also, take a note, I did put in the first code that unlocks these two guys up at the top here. Those guys aren't available right from the start, but the only place you can put in that code is at the very, very first screen. So I figured I'd just take care of it. There's also a lot of codes. I have all the codes in this book right here. That's pertinent literature to this game, as well as the actually same issue of Nintendo Power that we've been going with for a little while now, which has Extreme G on the front, and it has what? It has Mischief Makers, F1 Pole Position, Aero Fighters Assault, and Mace the Dark Age. Has all those features. And the feature on Mace the Dark Age, mostly what it does is it runs down the characters themselves. It kind of gives like a little character profile for all of them. And it tells you like one special move and how to do it. Not a fatality, which there is fatalities in this game. But it's like the most like signature special move, I guess, is what I'd call it. That's available for the character. They must have not had a full build of the game though, because two characters that I would assume to be like unlockables are not in there. Or I would have assumed them to be unlockables in the arcade version. They're not in the Nintendo Power feature. It's the two at the very bottom, Hell Knight and Skeleton Warrior, Spinal looking motherfucker. Even the announcer in this game, I give him a little bit more credit than the game. I mean, other similar games. Jesus Christ. I do think, at least at this point right now, there's a little bit of, you know, there's a little bit of delay is the only way to say it. You don't get immediate responses like you would in like older Mortal Kombats and stuff like that. But at the same time, like I am playing one of the bigger characters in this game right now, for this big, huge executioner guy. So I mean, if you ever played Soul Calibur and used like Astaroth, it's not the most perfect thing either. It's not as it's that's awesome. I mean, Soul Calibur still controls better than this game because Soul Calibur is nearly perfect, but it's kind of the same idea. Like, this character is really, really big, so his animations still go on. You get used to it, and it's not crippling. If anybody didn't catch that awesome thing that just happened, though, with the arenas, I love the way that the arenas come into this game, the way they do in, like, something like Soul Calibur, the way they do in... It's different than Mortal Kombat because you don't do, like, stage fatalities or anything like that. But it's similar to... I think Dead or Alive has it. You can get, like, stage outs and stuff like that. But when Taria there backed herself out of the platform in the middle here, the water around the stage was electrocuted, which I thought was really cool. Like, that's a cool feature that was pretty creative at the time, I want to say. I'm trying to think of, like, what other... Yeah, see? Yeah, stay down there. Ah, you suck. Yeah, I'm not very good at fighting games, so I might reach the end of the road with the Executioner here and use up all my credits because it's not like I get unlimited continues. I'll always complain about that in any of these fighting games. It's a home port, for God's sake. Just let me keep going. There we go. We got one in the book.
Win. Round 3, fight.
Son of a bitch. Yeah. Oh my god. Wow. I got my ass kicked in that one. Anybody wondering about the story mode in this game, it's also much better than, say, War Gods or anything like that. It's got, obviously, this medieval setting and everything with all these, like, crazy warrior characters. I'll just run through them really quick again. Executioner, Lord Deimos, the guy on the front. Koyasha, big Viking motherfucker. Taria, Al-Rashid. All these guys are obviously more, I want to say, more legitimate representations. Oh yeah, and they have color palette swaps too. I think there's 5 of them. More legitimate representations of worldly fighters than you'd find in War Gods. I'll say that much. And I'm gonna keep bringing up War Gods because it's another midway fighter from the same, published on the 64 in the same year. It's just a matter of how greatly improved this one is. They all have their own motivations, but basically what they're trying to do, I guess, is get this item called the Mace of Tanis, which is like, you know, big Satan-imbued power in a big mace. Lord Deimos, you would be led to believe, is sort of like the guy who's most closely tied to it. But there's also more boss characters, or there's a boss character that isn't selectable at the beginning. It's not the 2 guys that I was mentioning at the bottom there, Hell Knight and the spinal looking guy. Come on, you got this. Yes, awesome. It's not the 2 guys at the bottom, and it's not the 2 guys at the top that I mentioned I unlocked. It's oh, we'll get there. It might be, I don't want to say it's like a spoiler, it's just taking something from a new, I want to assume they got this boss character from a new, like, inspiration, and I don't want to spoil it until you kind of see it, if I get to that point in this run. So they, like, when you take them from, like, all across the globe, they all have their own motivations and stuff, and there's sort of the attract mode that runs before, oh my god. There's sort of the attract mode that runs before you start the game. You can kind of leave it going because this is like a straight arcade port. And they're also in the Nintendo Power issue. It kind of gives you the idea of like what their backstory is, and they're all pretty cool. They're much more interesting than a lot of really crappy fighting games from the 90s, because there were just so many crappy fighting games in the 90s with just bad characters. And you know, I have a particular appreciation for this because it's a little bit more real, and then like the supernatural is like, it's satanic Mace stuff. It's all pretty cool. Oh my god. Fuck. So you've got your, you know, typical like monk character who just kicked my ass with a big stick, and it's sort of like Arabian Nights. There's actually 2 of those guys. Sort of like Scheherazade looking person and Al-Rashid. And then clearly Spinal from Killer Instinct, and Samurai. And let's get back to the Executioner. Yeah, like that. He looks like, oh shit, what's his name from Soul Calibur? With this color palette, he looks like Necrid, I think is his name, from Soul Calibur. He's like green and mutated and otherworldly looking. That's a combo right there. Yeah. They got like the Mortal Kombat style announcer who tells you like, well, Mortal Kombat / Killer Instinct style announcer who like comments on the combos and stuff like that. Oh, don't tell me I'm gonna get screwed out of this. Really? Draw. Really? Double KO. Fuck that. It's like I'm trying to sneak in this sort of like Street Fighter type inputs to see if I can figure out any more. And really, all I know is is that right there. The sort of like this guy's Hadoken. I think you got a chance here. Let's get a couple more. Come on. Yes. Awesome. There's no fatality listings, or they're called executions in here, but there's no fatality listings in either of these, or else I'd be kind of using them. Oh, mirror match time. Ooh, this is a cool stage. And obviously there's this green sludge water all around it, so that's obviously not good. I think that's the basics of all the stage designs, is that there's some sort of material just on the outside of the main platform that if you fall in there, it starts damaging you. That's the basic stage design, but I don't know, I just like it because it's still different no matter what, even if it only gets used. I want to say if there's some idea of like multiple areas like you have in Mortal Kombat and Clay Fighter, that I could go, theoretically I could go to that back section there, and the two torture devices that are back there would also be stage hazards as well. I don't know if that's a thing. That's cool. You even get a story if you lose. That's pretty cool. That's badass. That's really cool. Wow. And that is dark. That is very dark. It fits really well. The whole yeah, that is dark. I like it. So yeah, that was my first try at a run. The boss character is Grendel. I don't know if it's necessarily supposed to be. Hold on. There might be a picture. I don't know if it's supposed to be that Grendel. Oh, it's a very, very tiny picture. Hold on, let's see. Grendel. Like in Beowulf. I don't know if it's supposed to be the same thing or if they just named him that way, but I like to think that it's just another like cool influence that they put into this game, because they clearly thought more about it than other games did. It fits the motif really well, if that's what it is. There's also other characters like Hojo the Chicken, sort of like the goofy characters. And I mean, this guy's kind of goofy too. Like, he looks like, actually, he's wearing a like mech suit that reminds me of
Round one, fight.
an episode of Rick and Morty when they keep going down into the mini universes, and they keep going down more and more levels with the Stephen Colbert character. At some point, they have like a fight with all the stuff that they made out of wood. That's exactly what it looks like right there. Except he's got barrels to use. They just have regular wood. That's totally what that looks like. And he moves. I was gonna say he moves really slowly, but I guess if you start getting moves off, he moves as fast as anybody. And he can shoot a big cannonball out of the middle of the suit of armor and everything. That's pretty cool. Nice.
Warmack, win.
Also, his beard's purple. Anybody catch that?
Warmack versus Koyasha.
This machine puts us on even terms, so he couldn't actually fight if he didn't have this thing. Makes sense. I like that everyone kind of like faces it head on, though. Nobody's like, well, this isn't fair. Not to mention, he says it puts them on even terms. Like, this, he's not saying that this makes him the best, he's saying that now they're on even ground. It totally doesn't look like even ground there. But whatever, I like it. I like it. Is he saying he led? I think that's what it is. I like it. Keep doing it. Ah. Ooh. I did not know I could do that. Nice. Awesome. Alright, I'm not going for a full run with this guy, I just wanted to try him out. He's really cool though. I like it. I like it a lot. There's so there's supposed to be other kind of goofy characters such as Pojo the Chicken, Ned the Janitor, I know that. And then you can unlock Rendell, you can unlock the two guys at the top, Gar Gunderson, the War Mech, and Ichiro. Not to be confused with Ichiro, the baseball player, of course. Oh, and here's the options menu. And I'll take you to the... And Honest Gamer Mike has showed up and he's saying Gar kind of looks like a medieval King Dedede. Which is... seems about right. So yeah, that's the it doesn't look anything like this, obviously. But that's the controller layout, and it's not that complex. I think that's the one thing that if anything, I want to give it credit for, because it's come out and so far been way more fun than any other fighting game I've played so far. Even Killer Instinct, honestly. Me personally, having more fun with this. I'm going to, I'm not going to try Lord Daedalus yet. I'm going to try somebody. Probably not going to use all that much. Yeah, I like that. Let's do a couple matches here.
Round 1, fight.
And yeah, she moves really quick. This is my first like attempt of using somebody who's not massive and towering over their opponent. She's very, very fast.
Koyasha win. Round 2, fight.
I wonder what she's actually supposed to be from, because I don't really have an idea of it just by looking at her. I'll check.
Koyasha win.
Koyasha. Oh, apparently she's supposed to be another sort of like Middle Eastern sort of fighter. So she's associated with Al-Rashid, whatever the fuck his name is. Or based on the stage I'm fighting her. Did I fight Xiao Long in this stage as well? Maybe some of them share stages. Because I mean, she could also be from, like, China or that area, and have come further west and met Oversheet. Especially if she's fighting on, like, a Buddhist temple kind of stage like that. Maybe I'm looking too far into it because maybe they didn't think this hard about it. 97. I mean, they all have full character profiles and everything, but maybe they just didn't think too hard about it. Maybe they had to cut stages and now some of them are sharing. That's another possibility. Oh jeez. Oh my god. That looked brutal. Nice. Satisfactory, thank you. Appreciate that. Even one ladder you can tell is going to be fairly long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's really like 10 people. It's fairly long. I don't think we're gonna stick around too much longer. This game might actually work out better with the regular controller as well, especially because of, like I said, there's only really 3 buttons. And I think it makes L and R easier to use if I'm using a real controller, which would probably be something I want to try. Nice.
Wins. Round 2, fight.
I think it might be okay using the D-pad. That's all. Yikes. One thing I noticed is, like, there was the option to turn gore on and off, but there's not very much blood. It's not at all Mortal Kombat levels of blood, but some of the moves they pull off totally could lead to that. The way that Taria had that move where she just kind of grabbed me and stabbed me in the gut like 3 times. Like, that was brutal, and, like, nothing came of it. In Mortal Kombat, the same thing would just produce just buckets of blood appropriately. Almost. Oh, damn it. Alright. I thought I had her for a second when she landed in the water. But yeah, that's a good headway into some of this game. There's plenty of characters, and I'll try to show off plenty of them later. And also, probably toss in my Game Shark and try to access the rest of the secrets that are in this game, because there's a hell of a lot of them. They're not that easy to unlock just by using cheats. Unlocking Grendel and using him, for example, requires winning through 2-player matches and then doing something. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not bothering with that right now. I just wanted to at least show that there's 2 secret characters at the top there. But yeah, at the very least, like, I want to get an idea of all of the different characters in this game, because there's a lot of them and they're all pretty cool. So I will be revisiting this game fairly soon. Thank you all for watching, and not being too harsh about the fact that I didn't actually win or anything like that. But it's an arcade fighter and it's very hard. So thank you very much. I'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.